experiences, present accomplishments, and future goals. I want to thank and share with you, with our congregation, with all our families and friends for providing their love and support to us to help our dreams become a reality. Mostly, I congratulate you, my fellow graduates, for your motivation, perseverance, and determination in overcoming obstacles while achieving your goals. You are truly an example for future writer classes. The opportunity to attend Rider University and obtain a college degree has allowed me to develop personally and professionally. When I arrived here in the fall of 2010, I felt helpless and afraid. I believed that I would be unable to overcome the academic obstacles placed before me. I was depressed, consumed with the fear of failing, and thoughts about dropping out. In the first week of classes, I realized that I was not prepared for courses on a university level. I had taken a giant step, and there was no way of turning back. Had I overextended myself? Was I knowledgeable enough compared to the other students? How difficult would it be to succeed? In addition, I was the oldest student in all of my classes. I was concerned about how I would blend in and how I would be accepted. However, as I looked at my classmates, I realized that I was no different. We were all there to achieve the same goals, to obtain a college degree. Looking around at the young students in my classes, I began to reflect upon my accomplishments as well as my personal and professional development. This helped me realize that I brought real-life experience into the classroom. I decided to succeed at all costs and to overcome all obstacles that was placed before me. My life has always been filled with challenges and with people who have helped me to succeed. My illiterate foster mother, who raised me in South Carolina in the 60s, realized the power of education. She encouraged me to be the first student to integrate an all-white high school in order to get a better education. I did this facing racism and endless conflicts in a society that did not respect me or believe that I had the right to equal access to a good education. Survival was the word for each day in the South, and I understood this because I was black, poor, and uneducated. I had no knowledge of what I wanted to become in life. All I wanted was to be free from poverty and racism. After graduating, I volunteered for the United States Army to escape the negative environment that was destroying me. I served a tour of duty during the Vietnam War. When I returned home, my dignity, both as an African American and as a soldier, was denied because of continued racism, discrimination, and because of political controversy over the war. I became a homeless veteran, unable to secure employment. I realized that I wanted more out of life than just cleaning streets and digging ditches in South Carolina. So I began my long journey to complete my education by remembering that my foster mother, my motivator, could not read nor write. The importance of having an education was real for me, and I set out to construct a roadmap that directed me to Valor University. I can't go on. The excitement of attending classes, engaging in discussion with my professors, and learning from others broadened my knowledge and aroused my curiosity. When discussing topics and writing essays that reflected my increase in knowledge, I learned that education was power and that what I was learning would increase my interest in the world, and I now feel confident engaging in topics such as environment, politics, and community issues. I was asked, how has Valor impacted and changed my life? I'm excited and can proudly say that it changed my life in ways that I never thought possible. I'm the first person in my family to graduate from college with honors. Thoughts of making the dean's list or being inducted into who's among students in American universities and colleges never entered my mind. Inadvertently, I also became a role model by motivating and inspiring classmates to achieve their goals. Education is knowledge that cannot be limited or measured. Valor has impacted my life by allowing me to achieve in reality what I once thought was an impossible dream. The power of education led me to be able to stand before you today and deliver this commencement address at Valor University. As graduates, we can all go forward with the knowledge that Nelson Mandela so beautifully stated, education is the most powerful weapon which you could and should use to change the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eugene. I'd now like to pay special tribute to our Grand Marshal, Dr. Susan Glazer. Dr. Glazer is retiring after 45 years as Professor of Graduate Education. Please join me in recognizing Dr. Glazer's exemplary contributions to the university. All right. We've now come to the most important part of the program, the awarding of the degrees. I will announce each group of candidates by degree and ask that you stand and remain standing until the degrees have been conferred. Please hold your applause until I have conferred the degrees. Will the candidates from the graduate programs in the College of Business Administration who are receiving the degree of Executive Master of Business Administration, Master of Business Administration, and Master of Accountancy, please rise and remain standing. Will the candidates from the graduate programs in the College of Liberal Arts, Education, and Sciences, School of Education, who are receiving the degrees of Educational Specialist, Master of Arts in Teaching, and Master of Education, please rise and remain standing. Will the candidates from the graduate programs in the College of Liberal Arts, Education, and Sciences, School of Liberal Arts and Sciences, who are receiving the Master of Arts, please rise and remain standing. I am pleased to present these candidates to you. They've been deemed by the faculty of the university to have successfully completed their degree requirements. So by the authority of the Board of Trustees as granted by the State of New Jersey and with the approval of the faculty of the university, I am pleased to confer your degrees with all the rights, honors, and privileges appertaining thereto. Congratulations. Please be seated. Now, will the candidates from the College of Continuing Studies who are receiving the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, and the Associate in Arts, please rise and remain standing. I am pleased to present these candidates to you. They have been deemed by the faculty of the university to have successfully completed their degree requirements. So by the authority of the Board of Trustees as granted by the State of New Jersey and with the approval of the faculty of the university, I am pleased to confer your degrees with all the rights, honors, and privileges appertaining thereto. Congratulations. Degree recipients, please move your tassels from the right to the left side of your mortarboard. Please be seated. To present the graduates from the graduate programs in the College of Business Administration, I am pleased to introduce Dr. Stephen Lorenzetti, Dean of the College of Business Administration.
Will the graduates from the graduate programs in the College of Business Administration please rise and approach the platform?
Joseph Michael Belanca with distinction. Matthew Jason Berg. Jeffrey D. Brick. Jason Michael Daly with distinction. Gregory Allen Hill. Gary Lang with distinction. Lindsay St. Michael Martin with distinction. Anthony Lauren Matus with distinction. Dan Merkel with distinction. Vanessa Colon Nazario. James William Myers. Martin John Ott III. Clyde Fillmore Penn, Jr. Carmen A. Perez with distinction. Nancy C. Quiones with distinction. Eileen Marie Ryan. Denise Ann Salamone. Ghulam Nabi Shah. Africanus K. Sufunjo. Marie Renee Fadal. Keith Eric Wakefield with distinction. Charlene G. White. Janice L. Barsom with distinction. Kevin Thomas Bordner with distinction. Zhuangwei Xiao. Louis M. Chebitar. Jeffrey W. Coates with distinction. Christopher Patrick Diole. Jennifer Catherine DeBleek with distinction. Chad Edward Demi. Robert Stephen Esposito with distinction. Kelly Fenimore. Kieran James Fitzpatrick. Shotima Fonfungshanren with distinction. Jonathan Jacob Grossman with distinction. Renee Natiana Hardman. Weiwei Zhang. Johnny Kim. Matthew Ryan Kinjeski. James Michael Kozik with distinction. Brendan Nicholas Lynch. Teresa M. Matera with distinction. Jonathan Alexander Moyer with distinction. Christopher J. Scalia. Joseph Martin Sheehan. Jennifer Lynn Springer. Sabrina E. Taylor. Stephanie Suzanne Toblinsky with distinction. Jennifer L. Wittes with distinction. Tanki Zhang. Medul Begum. Lonnie A. Bloom. Talita Boulou. Matthew D. Corbetta. Christopher M. Garrett. Cosmas Gushi. Nathaniel Ajad. Billy James Hughes with distinction. Jeremy Howard Jacobs with distinction. Karen Cambayeko. Matthew Robert Leegee. Mindy G. Lipman with distinction. Viviana Andrea Marin. Marion Menon. Jan Iglacio. Ronald Alonzo Moore II. Ryan Thomas Murphy. Matthew Todd Nolan with distinction. Robert Patrick O'Brien with distinction. Megan Joyce O'Hara. Robert M. Olson with distinction. Binal Parekh. Matthew M. Pirelli with distinction. Kristen M. Peterson with distinction. Anthony Joseph Politi. Brenda K. Scanlon. Antonio Ciano Lamorello. Brianna M. Wallace. Jingru Wei. Yating Zi.
To present the graduates from the graduate programs in the School of Education, I am pleased to introduce Dr. Sharon Sherman, Dean of the School of Education.
Thank you. Will the graduates from the graduate programs in the School of Education please rise and come to the platform?
Kimberly Ann Carl with distinction. Kelly A. Clyde with distinction. Jamie A. Falber with distinction. Christina Ann Feist with distinction. Christina Gildner with distinction. Matthew D. Haynes with distinction. Paige Noel Heffelfinger with distinction. David S. Loader with distinction. Elizabeth Ashley Marmo with distinction. Jacqueline Marie Moyer with distinction. Michelle Catherine O'Brien with distinction. Rosemarie Tina Papaleo with distinction. Erica Nicole Patero with distinction. Allison Deborah Schwartz. Justin Joseph Solomon with distinction. Elizabeth H. Andrews with distinction. Janae Ayala with distinction. Jason Michael Barcelo with distinction. Shenba Gavali Baskran Samantha Nicole Bennett with distinction. Lori M. Bricks with distinction. Samantha Vanessa Camacho with distinction. Robin Phillips Carver with distinction. Matthew M. Cantanella with distinction. Mary Beth Consiglio with distinction. Linda F. Coppinger with distinction. Kimberly Cruz Garcia with distinction. Megan C. Doyle. Casey William Drennan with distinction. Christopher Edmund Dudo. Jennifer Lynn Diswanik with distinction. Charity Gabrielle Everett with distinction. Jovin M. Fernandez. Heather Lindsay Fogarty with distinction. Melissa Marie Foley with distinction. Jeffrey Fonseca with distinction. Wilson N. Garcia Moreno. Rosemary Janeo with distinction. Chastity Marie Glennon Bouldry. Amanda Kathleen Goglin. Nancy Finan Goodstein with distinction. David Michael Hassin. Tyrone Hodges. Scott R. Hurl with distinction. Regina Marie Bernadette Kelly. Joseph Lanzetta IV with distinction. Kimberly Grace Lucas with distinction. Jessica Francis Machetta with distinction. Christina Lee Marshall with distinction. Jenny T. Matlack. Sonia Nadine McCrae. Kelly Allen McGinley with distinction. Corey Isaiah McNair. Yakima Renee Melton. Megan Ann Moyer with distinction. Cynthia H. Oberkoffler with distinction. Lisa Olewski with distinction. Jennifer A. O'Neill. Mary Joan Padavano with distinction. Rachel Ashley Parkins with distinction. Brittany Suarez, or Suzanne Perkins. Amanda Rebecca Pincus with distinction. Amanda Dagny Pitchko with distinction. Jennifer R. Puka with distinction. Patricia M. Quenzer. Ashley Michelle Reeves with distinction. Colleen H. Rossi with distinction. Stacy Ann Scanella with distinction. David Barry Smolensky, Jr. Glynis Teresa Spencer with distinction. Heidi Lynn Summers with distinction. Olga Titarchuk. Chelsea Lee Trump with distinction. Brunel Roberta Tyus with distinction. Lakshmi V. Voryuganti with distinction. Melissa Kathy Wainwright. Michael A. Winsett with distinction. Melissa Diane Yeager with distinction. Leodito Yanogasio, Jr. Barbara Elizabeth Zukis with distinction. Emma C. Basilone with distinction. Calvin Travis McCrae with distinction. Gina Marie Midori with distinction. Cyrene Sawaha with distinction. Cindy Walden Clark with distinction.